produce 60% of the UK food production, not 30. Don't shake your head, that is correct.
I can't do.
Shall I enter?
Right, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
First of all, we produce 60% of the UK food production. I am extremely concerned with growing population about food security. You are saying that you are going to do industrial development on the best Grade 1 agricultural land in the country. How many hundreds of acres are you going to take out of food production? And are you aware that the Prime Minister has directed that in all planning applications, food security must be given priority?
I think, thank you very much. I think the question of food security will be answered by my colleague here, Stafford Proctor. He's a major farmer in the Wash area and represents a lot of the farming activities around the Wash. As far as we're concerned, on the Lincolnshire side, we're already in conversation with one of the farm owners on that side about an access point for the container terminal. The intention there is to provide, in the years to come, warehousing and logistics services that back up the container terminal's operation and create jobs in that area as well. We will be using the A52 for the trucks to go to the Midlands and Midlands area, mainly because Centreport is 40% cheaper in the same truck journey from Felixstowe to the Midlands. And that hasn't been missed by the people in the Midlands. It's a huge benefit to them. So we want to use the area around the touch point in Wainfleet for minimal activity. We're not going to concrete over hundreds of acres of fields. It'll just be a road and rail connection on that side with a few supporting structures.
The chap at the top there, please.
Yep. Could you just confirm, please, whether you've been granted permission to build any of these projects? At one point you said, when we build, rather than if we are granted permission to build. Have you been granted permission to do any of this at this point?
I think, as you've seen from HS2 and other major developments.
It's yes or no. Yes or no is the answer.
The answer to your question is it takes 7 years to get planning approval in this country, and we are 1 year into this project.
So it's no.
Not yet.
Have you get right down there, but whilst you're doing that, speak to the chap up there, please. So the chap who's got his hand up there.
Thank you. Thank you for those words, Mr. Sutcliffe. It's been very interesting to see how far you have got. I'm actually the Borough Councillor for Bragster and Saxon Shore. It looks as if you could well be coming ashore in my ward. I can understand what you were saying about basically West Norfolk is expected to take one for the nation on the basis that we are going to pay the price for your port and things, and I accept that it's going to take a lot of work. But the thing which I think a lot of people here don't quite know and would like to know is what is the timing on this? In other words, are we going to be dealing with this, or are our children going to be dealing with this, or our grandchildren? Because I know from other projects, and we've been through HS2, these things don't happen in a hurry. So you have obviously been doing a lot of work on this. Do you have a timeline, even if it's only approximate, so that we can get an idea of what we're dealing with? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent question. As I said just now, the time frame for getting a nationally significant infrastructure project approved in this country is around about 7 years. And that is inclusive of all the feasibility and detailed reports that I mentioned earlier. So before we start any construction, that has to happen. We would anticipate that the construction period will then be another 5 to 7 years, depending upon the amount of construction we go ahead with. The primary focus will be first the container terminal, second the power unit in the middle of the wash, the renewable energy project, and third the link to Norfolk. So we are talking about a very long-term project, and one that is probably pushing towards £3 billion.
Thank you, Mr. Sutcliffe, and thank you for coming in and answering our questions. We really appreciate it, being able to ask and find out. Finance. How on earth are you going to finance this? Is it going to be like nuclear power plants where we will start paying, or is it going to be from CFD contracts, the difference? How are you going to pay for this illusion?
Sorry, as I understand it, the question is how are we going to pay for this?
Yeah, how's it going to be financed?
Yes, we're already talking to 3 different groups of investors, 1 in the States and 2 in the Middle East.
Chinese involved.
Yes.
No, not Chinese. About financing this project.
At this point, I'm going to say we should have 2 more from now, and then we'll try to get more questions in at the end if we can. So that man that's there was had his hand up, and that lady over there had a hand up for a long time.
You keep saying zero carbon offset project. So how are these trucks going to take the containers to and from where they go? Are they going to all be electric trucks? and the construction site, are they all going to be electric trucks that bring all the stuff to the site and from the site? As you're saying zero carbon
Yes,
offset project. The whole ethos of you being here, you're patronising us all. You are patronising all this you've put up in front of us, all that you've said so far, you're just taking the piss out of all that.
Well, I apologise if you feel that way.
When I started, I asked you to be polite and constructive.
Can Mr. Sutcliffe explain how it can possibly be zero carbon when he's encouraging boats, lorries, and he's going to go how many tons of concrete he's going to put in the wash? Please explain to me how you've done the calculations for that.
Sensible question, thank you. The offset's created by creating the renewable energy in the first place. The container terminal is run on that renewable energy. It's not using diesel or petrol vehicles of any sort. To operate the container terminal, so that is where we get the offset. It's about 450,000 tonnes of carbon offset.
Is it zero carbon or not? It can't be, can it?
Yes, it is zero carbon
How
container
can it
terminal.
be zero carbon when you've got
It's
ships
all
and
electric.
lorries coming in that are burning diesel and petrol?
We have a solution to that, but I'm not prepared to discuss that right now.
I've just got one more question to do, because it was this lady that we didn't promise earlier on. Then we're going to be moving on to our 2 speakers, and then we're going to have to move on from there for that now. So, your question, please.
Thank you very much. I'll ask this as politely as I can. I was persuaded to come out here tonight on the basis that I would be given information about this scheme. I found it very frustrating to be told that the only basis on which Mr. Sutcliffe would appear was if he was allowed to go last. My instinct was, if you're not prepared to be open at the start, what are you scared of? However, he has spoken, and I listened very carefully to what he said. I think I heard one fact, the fact that the barrage, the obstruction, whatever you want to call it, is going to be a bit like a colander. No, 2 facts. The second thing I heard is you're going to build the container port first, and then after that, the other projects. But everything else in what you've said to me
is about your aspirations, your focus, the potentialities. I have heard no facts, and that leaves me feeling A, duped about what's happening, and B, if that is your response, all these people here, you must be able to tell are genuinely concerned about a whole range of things. And the fact that you actually haven't produced facts about the project must leave everybody here feeling there's something really suspicious about this. So my question to you is, why can you not? Why are you refusing to give us genuine facts?
Thank you very much for that question. As I said to you earlier, the project was only announced a year ago. And we will need quite a long time to investigate all the facts that you need answers to. And that could be as much as 5 years, and a lot of investment on our behalf as well. But in principle, and I can tell you this quite categorically, we've already been running different ports in the UK. We've already built container terminals overseas, so we do know the facts about how to put these things together. But in every, just bear with me. But in each location, there are special circumstances, and there are certainly some very special circumstances in the Wash that we need to be absolutely certain about, that we're not damaging the environment.
We're going to have to move on to our next speaker now. What we'll do, if there is time at the end, have more questions.